Kristy.
Hey, friend.
Hey, Fred. Oh my gosh, it's been a hot minute since I've
Yes,
seen
girl.
you. Well, not since I've seen you, but since we have invited our people.
Hi, everyone. We're back.
We're back. It's a new year, 2026. It's the month of February, the month of love, right?
Yes, girl.
So, welcome to Southern, Sober, and Sassy, and we're here to talk today about
Lighting that fire.
lighting the fire. Why not? Everybody is so cold right now, even in Florida. And so I was talking to Kristy this morning, which is a spinoff of my mom's Monday Notes. And, it's time to light a fire under our relationships that are stagnant. And what I mean about that is if you have a loved one that's suffering from the disease of addiction, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs, whether it be prescription drugs, also, what about that manipulation? That is part of the act of a disease of addiction, whether it be putting the cake in the mouth too much, whether it be smoking the marijuana. I don't know. And by the way, I'm going to tell you that I look at addiction as being anything that we use and abuse our body to alter the way we think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's saying, it's time to light a fire, light a fire, light a fire underneath you to start moving and doing something different, especially if you're a family member that has a loved one struggling. What are you waiting for? Now is the best time. It's cold outside. Let's light a fire. Let's warm up, and let's warm up some conversations to talk about getting the help we deserve. We all know everyone needs and deserves the help from addiction, whether you're the loved one or whether you're the person that is at hand, whether you're the one struggling. And that help is for everyone involved. So what are your thoughts, Kristy?
Well, the first couple of things that come to mind is move a muscle, change a thought. The other one is nothing changes if nothing changes. So, those are such cliche statements that my sponsor would say to me that I had to do something different so she would stop saying it because I was just so tired of hearing it.
Yeah, we're recording. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm making sure because we've had some faux pas before. So.
The nothing changes if nothing changes is I am responsible for my disease, whether that be drugs, alcohol, food, sex, gambling, shopping. I am responsible for it. And if I want something different, I have to do something different. Meaning, go to a meeting, get a sponsor, go to another meeting, talk to my sponsor, actually do this step work and be honest when she does give me that work. In the timeline that she gives it to me, time is precious. A sponsor's time is very precious. She is giving me the tools for me to have a better life, an empowered, beautiful, wonderful life. Stop procrastinating, stop waiting. And the way that I got sober and still get sober is yes ma'am. Yes ma'am, sponsor lady. And she would give me something different to do if I wanted something different. So those are a couple of examples. On the flip side of that is communication in my relationships. Not everything, I don't have to reply to everything. I don't have to answer the phone. I don't have to explain the why. I can just say no or no thank you and mean it and let it stop right there. I don't have to if I say no and they say why, I don't have to explain it. If which that helps me keep my power. And another thing is when the phone rings, it's like chaos is calling. Hey, there it is. There it is. Chaos is calling. I learned from her 3 precious words. Let it ring. Oh, oh, wow. Oh my gosh. It's the control part, it's the fix part, it's the people pleasing part that's answering the phone. And so, and then I said, well, what if it's important? And she said, if it's important, they'll leave a message. Then you can go and listen to the voicemail. You let it ring, let them leave a voicemail, and if a reply is needed, then you can reply. But stop having chaotic conversations.
Yeah.
It takes two to play. So there's a if you want something different, do something different thing. And then the other one is move a muscle, change a thought. And it all boils down to action. And there's another cliche statement that you hear in recovery, all across the board in recovery, whether it be AA, NA, Al-Anon, um, adult,
Adult children of alcoholics
yeah.
and dysfunctional families.
I mean,
Nar-Anon.
yeah,
NA.
yeah,
Yeah.
your therapist is going to tell you to do something different. When you're sitting there spinning out in your head, get up, put your shoes on, walk around the block. In early recovery, I had a stop sign at the end of my driveway, and I would stomp out the anger to this stop sign. And once I got to that stop sign, I said, all right, I'm leaving it here. And then I would turn around and be grateful walking back to the house. And I wore that stop sign out. But I could sit there in that chaotic thinking, or I could get up, move a muscle, and it did change a thought. And I'm still a walking fool to this day. So
You said that the other night in a meeting, and I love that. Pick a point of where stomping out the anger, stomping out the frustration, the anxiety, and then leave it there, and then come back and gratitude. Okay, Jesus, okay, I've stomped this out, and I'm ready to pivot, and let's talk about something else. Stomp out the next thing. Come back and grateful that you were able to release it. Release it. Our bodies are they're so beautiful, all the way from the brain to the toes. And when we can move a muscle, change a thought, then we can get action, right? Because we can get all the turbulence out here and get it away, right? Because when we walk, our bodies are such beautiful just beautiful. And so when we're walking, we can start releasing and letting it go. And we can talk. We also, I think, too, inviting God, the God of my understanding, into every conversation I have, and just stomping it out, And I don't care if you got the stomp of a 2-year-old. If you're getting it out,
yeah,
it don't matter how you get it out.
I did stomp like a 2-year-old.
Yeah, that adult high chair.
The other thing is the flip side of that is lighting a fire under my part. My part. I am responsible for my disease, or my dysfunction, or my codependency, or my people pleasing. I get it. Okay, that's my part. But what about other people? Let's say that I have a child, or I have a husband that is under the influence and living in my home, and we share a space together, or even a co-worker. What about other people? And we talk about boundaries all the time. And if I let those people continue to overstep my boundaries, then nothing is going to change, except for me to get more resentful. And then therefore I'll be walking twice as much back and forth to that stop sign. I'll be walking to the stop sign for me. I'll be walking to the stop sign for you too. No. I am responsible to walk to the stop sign just for me. You need to put your shoes on and walk to the dang stop sign yourself. I'm not taking on your resentments anymore. And irresponsibility, trying to fix it, so on and so forth. And what can I do differently And Amy is very good at this. What can I do differently in family recovery with our loved ones um, that are addicted? You know, and if if I don't do something different, if I keep cushioning the blow, if I keep co-signing the BS, if I keep writing the check, if I keep turning a blind eye, then I'm just avoiding and ignoring. And while that is happening, the disease of addiction is growing and growing and growing and growing inside of them. So,
Yeah. And I think too, especially working with families, bringing the family into the process is, we as family members, we want to fix. That's in our innate being, especially as moms. Especially, I see a lot of husbands, they want to fix it because they're the man of the house, or the dads, that's our role. But then the moms want to come in and fix it too, and they want to be emotionally supportive. And what we don't realize is we pour out so much of ourselves into our loved one, and we have nothing left for ourselves. And so when we can learn new behaviors in our own recovery, because my friend David Mallow always says, you know what? He tells families all the time, you, family member, can have the recovery you wish for your loved one. You can work on your own recovery. And that's so profound, because we have resources just as much as our loved ones do. We have Al-Anon, we have CODA, the 12 steps of codependency. There's Celebrate Recovery if you want faith-based, but also learning that I cannot continue to please everyone around me, or I will be burned out emotionally, mentally, and physically, and spiritually. And guess what? Then I'm going to get burned out financially, because I'm going to keep writing the checks, and then I'm going to get resentful. And this is a vicious cycle that we want you all to learn how to step back out of. You don't have to, just like Kristy said, you don't have to show up for every conversation you get invited to. No is a complete sentence. Let that phone go to voicemail. Listen, and if you want to feel like you need to explain or want to respond, talk to your sponsor, talk to your counselor, talk to your coach or therapist, because not everything that is brought to us deserves an answer and deserves a reply. Sometimes our loved ones, I know for me, myself, I would lash out. I'll never forget, right before I got sober and right before everything went down. This was April, and I remember my mom, I needed her to watch my kids so I could go get fucked up. I'm just going to be real honest. I was going away for the weekend. My mother said, no, we're not keeping the kids. I lashed out at her, and she hung up on me. I was like, how dare you hang up on me? You need to listen to me. I'm telling you where you're wrong. And that was a pivotal point. That was in April. Everything happened in May of that year, and my mother changed. And guess what? Families, your loved one who's in active addiction, they're going to get hot mad with you. Hot mad with you when you start changing your behaviors. But that empowerment that you give yourselves, and knowing you don't have to show up to every conversation, and you can let them be mad. You mad? Let me throw you the cape and let you be super mad. Because because that piece that we as active alcoholics, active addiction, active all of these things, we suck the life out of our families. We do. And we will continue to do it until one of two things. You as families walk away, or we get sober. But for us to get sober, we have to have consequences to our actions. And you families are lighting that fire of change. And if you'll do that, there is more of a chance of your loved ones pivoting to realize, I can't do this anymore, than not. Because if you keep feeding the coals on the manipulation and the active addiction fire, it's going to continue to grow. But if you move your coals and take your little red wagon of coals to the next fire pit and light it up to learn how to have boundaries, hold them accountable, let them experience their consequences of their actions, not your actions, but their actions, things will change. And their fire pit, their flaming fire pit of, manipulation, all of the active addiction will start to diminish.
Mm-hmm.
And you can light the new fire.
You know, something else that you brought up that keeps coming to mind is call something what it is. Stop beating around the bush. If your loved one is manipulating you, call it that. If your loved one was dishonest with you, call it that. If they are, if they stole from you, call it that. If they are disrespecting your boundary, call it that. Stop beating around the bush. It is very okay to be very clear, simple, and direct. You know, for example, this is manipulation for you to get what you want. I love you, and I hope that you go to an AA meeting today. I love you, goodbye. Or you were dishonest with me last week, therefore trust is broken, and no, I'm not going to give you $20 until, or I'm not going to give you $20, period. And if they were to keep on, then call it what it is and say, until trust is restored and you do trustworthy things, then I will consider helping you with $20, you know. But call it what it is. And really, what is the $20 for anyway? I mean, I'm very old school. I'll tell you to go cut some grass and the neighbor's grass and the neighbor's grass and the neighbor's grass and earn your own $20. I mean,
yeah.
I mean that's just me. I'm a very old school parent. But so there's a saying in recovery: let go or be dragged. So many families have just been dragged along. And then they hit a brick wall. They call professionals. We come into the situation and say, no, aren't you tired of being dragged? And we're not going to do this anymore. You deserve a beautiful, wonderful life. And life is to be enjoyed, not endured. And we're not going to endure anymore. From today moving forward, we're going to start enjoying. And that includes to stop doing so many things that you have been doing and to create some healthy boundaries in moving forward. They need to know that they have support, that they have support. And so many times they just need a professional to say to them that it's okay for you to feel the way that you have felt. It's very okay for you to be highly ticked off at your daughter and highly ticked off at your son, and that you want to smash their phone with a hammer. That's very okay to say. And when you justify their feelings, it's this massive relief that comes over them. Just be honest. Be honest about how you feel about it. Once they have the support of, you know, professionals come in and validate the situation and validate how they feel, then they do feel empowered to light a fire, to do something different. And it is amazing how we see a family transform in one day. We walk in and they are just tense and bug-eyed and are just like, oh my gosh. At the end of the day, they're like, we can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do this. But I also let them know that talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. You have to do something different. And they're willing to do it because the truth has been exposed. We have validated how they feel. It's legit to be mad. However, Now that we've done all that, we're going to set it aside and we're not going to stay in it. We're going to do something different so y'all can do something different. So you get a different result in moving forward. And they're like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think they realize that being clear is kind, not only to themselves, but to their loved one. You know, it is clear is always kind. And also, something that Kristy taught me last year from Al Anon, distance is best. Distance is best at this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are allowed to give yourself permission to step back and get out of their fire.
Yep. Don't fan their flame for them.
Yeah, and when you start removing the coals of codependency and people pleasing and enabling, and you start building your fire of independence and love and compassion and accountability and boundaries, you know, and handing back their consequences, your fire pit changes.
You know, there's another saying in recovery. My old sponsor says it, and my current sponsor says it. Mean what you say what you mean, just don't say it mean. There's a kind and loving way to be very straightforward. There is a very kind and loving way to just talk about the elephant in the room. Call it what it is. It's a very kind and loving way, in a very kind and loving way. One last thing that comes to my mind is, you know, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I drank for 25 years. I have almost 18 years sober.
I know, girl.
I'm about to have a birthday. Hey. The number one thing that made me change was when people moved away from me, when people started leaving me. That is what made me change. When people drew the line with me and said, I will not talk to you, I will not answer your phone calls or your texts until you get help, and they meant it, and it was that straightforward, that was the game changer for me. I was not, when people started to move away from me, that is the only thing that made me finally change. You take away my job, I'll just go get another one. You take away my paycheck, I got money. You take away my insurance, I'll be fine. You take this, or you try to take my car away, I'll just go get another one. I'll get me a sugar daddy, or I'll get that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And all that is ego and arrogance, and it's just the disease talking. But when they said to me, I will no longer have a relationship with you until you get and stay sober, that was it. That was it. That was the only thing that made me go. And
that's huge.
Yeah. So that is where, when personal boundaries, when we talk about personal boundaries and finally draw in that healthy boundary, it works. Boundaries work. We say that all the time. Boundaries work. And you have to remember the word healthy in front of the word boundary. Boundary is not punishment. Boundary is a healthy boundary. Not having a boundary is totally unhealthy. And so it's like, well, how's that working out for you? Well, it's not. Okay, well then let's do something different. Light a fire under your butt and let's get to moving. I'm very much so an action kind of person. Whenever I work with families, whenever I work with sponsees, I tell them, look, I take my job and my recovery very seriously. If you're not willing to do the work, then no one really can help you. But if you're willing to do the work, let's get on with it. I you get to have a beautiful, wonderful life, and I have the privilege of sitting back and watching it happen. And I've got your back all day long. I'm not going anywhere. If you're full of fire and you're full of action to do something different, I'm locked and loaded with you 100% all the way, no matter what. No matter what.
Yep. And it's just, you can baby step it.
Yep.
You know, so today, you know, if you're struggling with having boundaries with your loved one who's in active addiction, no matter what your role is in their life, just remember that a bag of coals are a lot cheaper than the heartache that we keep giving ourselves. Go buy a bag of coals and let's start lighting fires under your codependency, your people pleasing, your enabling. Light a fire under you keep writing those checks. Light a fire under you allow your loved one to run all over you, run amok in your family relationships. It is time. It is a lot cheaper. It is so much cheaper mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially if you will light the fire under yourself first. Light the fire pit right there in front of you and start changing your behaviors. It is time. It is time. This was good.
Yeah. And it's so worth it, too.
It is.
Promise it's worth it.
It is.
Feels awkward at first. Here's another thing. It's only hard the first time. It's only hard the first time. Remember that. Every time after that, it gets a little bit easier, a little bit easier, a little bit easier. The first time that you say no, it's going to be hard. The second time, it'll be a little bit easier. Third, fourth, fifth, be a little bit easier. A little bit. It's only hard the first time.
Yep.
And always remember that you have a support system. You now have a support system. You're not saying no alone.
No, you're not.
Yeah. No is a healthy, beautiful, wonderful word.
Yep. And it's a complete sentence. So if you're looking to learn how to say no, we're here for you.
Yep.
We hope you all have a fabulous day. We're going to check out.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.